Cull Obsidian, Sabertooth, Night Thrasher, Dr. Voodoo, Viv Vision, Anti-Venom. These beasts are finally getting their moment, coming in hot as 7 stars for the very first time. And guess what? They're getting buffed too. Yeah, you heard that right. Not just recycled, not just re-released, rebirthed, with real potential to go God mode if Kabam does this right. So now the big question. What held them back before? What needs to change? And what exactly does the game team need to do to turn this batch into an absolute banger update? Let's break it all down, champ by champ, problem by problem, and see who's about to pop off in the meta. Real quick, I know y'all got opinions on these champs, and I want to hear them. Drop your takes in the comments, tell me what you think is wrong with them, and who you want to see become a monster after the buff. Let's see if we're thinking the same, or if I'm about to say something controversial. Now let's break down each champion, starting with my favorite, Cull Obsidian. Look, this guy's always been one of my day one favorites. That raw damage? Absolutely disgusting. He destroys health bars when he's ramped up. But the problem? He's a full-on glass cannon. His block proficiency is terrible, like straight up painful. You take one blocked hit and it feels like you ate a special 2. In endgame content, he becomes expensive to use. You need potions just to survive his ramp up, and that chip damage stacks up fast. So if you're not careful, you're spending more time topping him off than actually fighting. Now, yeah, Cull is a ramp-up champion, no doubt. But once he gets going, it's those armor breaks that really turn him into a monster. That's where the big damage kicks in, and it stacks up fast. And that's what makes him so good, especially against a lot of the tanky defenders we've seen lately. All that armor break synergy? It melts champs with high armor. Plus, that pure damage output gives him some surprising utility in more matchups than people expect. He's got the potential, no one's denying that. But Kabam needs to tighten him up, fix that block proficiency, maybe give him a bit more survivability early on, and you've got yourself a certified banger 7-star champ. To be honest, his base stats are my only real concern with Cull. His block proficiency, his health pool, that's where he struggles. Everything else? Man's already got the tools to crush. If Kabam can just clean up those core stats, give him a bit more durability so he's not getting clapped by chip damage every fight. Cull could easily be one of the best 7-star champs in the game, because when he's ramped, he ends fights fast. Like blink and it's over fast. Give this man some survivability and it's a wrap. He's ready to dominate. Next up, Sabertooth. Now this guy's always been lurking in the shadows, and that's not even a Wolverine pun. He's constantly overshadowed by the other insane mutants. And to be fair, mutant class is stacked. Heck, we're talking Magneto, Domino, Archangel, Bishop, Kitty. The list just doesn't stop. But it's not just the competition. Sabertooth has his own problems too. And the big one? Those passive fury buffs he builds over time just disappear once the fight ends, unless you pull off that very specific synergy with Sasquatch. You know the one. The famous SP3 transfer synergy, where if you finish the fight with a special 3, you carry all your built-up fury passives into the next fight. At least, that's how I remember it. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, because I honestly didn't use it much myself. It's just not consistent enough to be practical in most content. But here's the thing, if the devs actually build that synergy into his base kit, so that any player, with or without Sasquatch, can carry over those furies in longer content, Sabertooth would immediately shoot up in value, especially for something like Incursions, Eternity of Pain Paths, or Gauntlet-style fights. It's a simple fix with massive payoff. Give him the ability to hold on to what he earned, and this man could finally get the spotlight he deserves in the mutant roster. I mean, honestly, if they just gave him stronger passive furies, that alone would make a huge difference. Let him hit harder, scale better with ramp up. Boom, way more threatening. And look, I don't know exactly what Kabam's gonna do with him, but for me, that fury retention and his weak ramp up payoff, that's the real issue. Fix that, and Sabertooth could be a serious long-form menace. Oh, and if they want to throw in a little buff to his regeneration as a cherry on top, I'm not saying no. That'd make him way more sustainable and just way more fun to play, honestly. But hey, drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you'd do to make Sabertooth feel like a beast again. I want to see how wild your ideas get, my friend. Next up, the favorite of the OGs, Dr. Voodoo. Man, this guy holds a special place in the hearts of old school players. Before Dr. Doom came in, flexing with that Doom cycle and all his cracked power control, Voodoo was the guy. Back in the day, power control, poison utility, and those sweet neurotoxins made him a complete beast. And if you remember the Blade era, when Blade was the most wanted champ in the game, Dr. Voodoo was right there in that same league. He was that dude. But here's the thing. As the game evolved, so did the power creep. Now we've got champions dropping 6-digit crits, built-in immunities, busted kits, and wild utility. And somewhere along the way, Dr. Voodoo kinda got left behind. He still has some unique mechanics, that odd even combo rotation, the Loa control, the poison spread. But let's be honest, his damage just doesn't keep up anymore. His animations feel slow, his kit needs a refresh, and outside of a few specific matchups, he's just not keeping pace with modern champions. And that's really the issue. Voodoo's not broken, he's just outdated. So what can Kabam actually do with Voodoo? If you ask me, it's pretty simple. Give his base stats a solid boost and increase his damage output to match the pace of today's meta. That alone would help him survive in this evolved power creep heavy game. And here's a spicy idea. Turn those neurotoxins into passives and crank up their damage. That would instantly make him more threatening, especially in longer fights or matchups where dot matters. At the end of the day, everything Voodoo already does is solid. It just needs a modern touch. A little 2025 flavor sprinkled into that classic 2017 kit, and boom. We've got a legit 7-star worth ranking up. But hey, that's just my take. Let me know what you think they should do with Dr. Voodoo in the comments. I'm actually curious to see how creative y'all get with this one. Next up, Night Thrasher. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't have a ton of experience with this guy, but the first time I played around with him for fun, I was like, okay, he's kind of interesting. He's got a bit of ramp up, and his Incinerate immunity is actually a solid piece of utility, definitely helpful in some matchups. But the way his kit works, not really my thing. His damage feels like it's way too dependent on stacking debuffs, and once you get those on, you trigger some Fury buffs to scale the damage up. On paper, that sounds cool, but in actual gameplay, it feels clunky. You're juggling too many things just to get decent numbers. And even then, it doesn't always feel rewarding. If I'm keeping it 100, Night Thrasher is probably the lowest hyped champ in this batch for me. Like, I'm not saying he's trash, but I'm just not excited about him yet. Maybe that'll change with the buff. If you ask me, I'm like, yo, just rework the whole kit already. But hey, if a full overhaul isn't on the table, then a few smart tweaks might still do the job. Give him some passive debuffs, boost that damage scaling, and suddenly he might start feeling a little more modern. Oh, and that power gain on well-timed blocks? Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting. That could be something if they build around it better. So let's see what Kabam cooks up with this one. I'm not getting my hopes too high, but hey, maybe they surprise us. Alright, now let's talk about Viv Vision. Not gonna lie, I actually like her more than the original Vision in this game. She's got way more than just power control. That phase on well-timed blocks, super clutch, and her immunities, solid. She's stacked with useful utility across the board. Honestly, her kit's loaded with good stuff, but the one thing holding her back? Damage. It's just not there yet. Like, she does everything right utility-wise, but when it comes time to bring the hurt, you're left wanting more. If you ask me, she doesn't need a full rework or anything, just a little bit of tuning, bump up that damage output, maybe scale her ramp up better, and Viv could easily go from solid to straight up scary as a 7-star. And finally, we've got another exciting one, Anti-Venom. Now with this guy, it's all about that special 2 into Fury passives. Once you drop that SP2, those juicy Fury stacks start patching up his damage output. And yeah, it feels great when it all lines up. But like Night Thrasher, he still leans heavily on stacking debuffs, which, to be fair, isn't that hard if you know how to play him. Still, I'm really curious to see how Kabam handles this buff, because Anti-Venom as a 6-star, he's decent. Solid utility, decent control, a little bit of sustainability, but nothing that screams top tier. If you ask me, there's just one thing he really needs: make the damage more consistent. That's it. Smooth out the numbers, make his rotation more rewarding, and you've got a legit contender in the 7-star roster. So that's the full Rebirth batch, baby. From Cull Obsidian's Glass Cannon Madness, to Sabertooth's long-form Fury Dreams, to Voodoo's OG Glory Days, Night Thrasher's Potential, Viv Vision's Utility, and Anti-Venom's Debuff Dance. Every single one of these champs has something to gain from this upcoming buff. Now it's all on Kabam. If they get this right, this could be one of the most exciting 7-star batches we've seen yet. But hey, now it's your turn. Drop your takes in the comments. Who are you most hyped for? What changes do you want to see? Let's get that comment section popping with ideas. And if you enjoyed the video, smash that like button. Hit subscribe for more breakdowns like this, and share this with your alliance. Let's get the whole community talking. And we're just getting started. Catch you in the next one. Peace.